Bill Cosby, I discovered billions of dollars riding on keeping Cosby in jail. Welcome to the Shakaama Live Show with your host, Shakaama. Unfortunately, I probably will not be able to watch this when it premieres tomorrow. I just received notice that my internet has not been paid and it will be shut off. So, there you have it. It's $89. I had a horrible last month with YouTube. And I tried to warn everybody that something was going to happen. And I got people saying, blah, blah, blah. I don't think you understand. I'm not just Pookie down the road. This is actual business. Now let me ask you, do businesses who are fantastic go out of business? Do they lose money sometimes? Yes. Guess what? YouTube has always lost money to this very day. It is a money-losing company. So if you want to donate, it probably would only take, 10 of you? $10 each. PayPal.me/Shakaama. I'll leave the link in the description and the top comment. So let's get on with this. I'm going to schedule this for tomorrow. I wish you all well and good luck. Quote, tons of accusers afraid of the outcome of the Bill Cosby appeal. End quote. This was a headline before the Court of Appeals even heard the case, the Bill Cosby case. To no one's surprise, the appeals court justices came out swinging at who? At the Cosby team. Quote, he had unlimited funds, one of the justices said. At who? The state? The taxpayer-funded attorney general? No. At the Cosby team. Unlimited funds. I don't think he understands what unlimited funds means. The Cosby team said that allowing 5 women to just up and testify in court was nothing more than prejudicial against Cosby. That means that it wasn't evidence at all, because it was never tried, tested, and there was no outcome of their words, right? That it wasn't evidence, it just was a way to get the jury to hate Cosby. Quote, it showed a pattern, another justice said. But folks, need I remind you that none of these women went to the police, submitted a kit, went to the emergency room, had hospitals witness it, had any sort of verification of what happened. None. Not a single one. Oh, and get this. One of the women didn't even remember anything happening. That means, quote, that means the drugs worked, another justice said. Quote, he can't benefit because the woman didn't think anything happened, end quote. People, these are appeals court justices. Do I have to spell it out for you? This justice, a woman, were bought and paid for. How are you going to put someone on the stand that said nothing happened, and then the district attorney says, see, she doesn't even know something happened when it did. Folks, that's not how evidence works. I wasn't driving the car doesn't mean that Billy saying he saw me driving the car is proof. Nor is a district attorney saying something happened when the woman said nothing happened. The district attorney can't offer proof by himself. He can't convince somebody that something happened. If Cosby wasn't sitting in jail, this would be hilarious. A Saturday Night Live skit. And to make this all worse, this is an appeals court judge saying this. See, she didn't even realize something happened to her. Do I need to tell you they were bought and paid for? You all are smarter than what the mainstream media says about you, right? But let me give you whose in the billions of dollars benefiting from Cosby sitting in jail. The Me Too movement, the mainstream media, the feminist movement, high-ticket corporations ranging from Silicon Valley all the way to Wall Street, because they need women to keep working and keeping wages low for men. That's one of the reasons that they want this. Donald Trump and Bill Cosby haven't seen eye to eye, probably ever. I don't think they ever saw eye to eye. I believe Trump legitimately does not like Bill Cosby, not because of anything that Cosby did, but probably because of who Bill Cosby actually is, which has nothing to do with women, right? The Hollywood Me Too movement in particular. If Bill Cosby walked out of jail, they'd all lose millions, and it would rock the nation. This Cosby walking out of jail would rock the nation. The economy would turn on its side a little bit. If you all don't think this is big, it is gigantic. There's a problem with this Me Too movement, though. The Bill Cosby case is praised as the first Me Too movement case. But all the evidence points to nothing happening. The accuser lying. Witnesses coming forward that she's lying. And the judge and district attorney being so corrupt that the FBI is investigating them. So what's the problem? All the cases afterwards, all the Me Too cases have all turned out to be false accusations. Every single one of them. And to add insult to injury, the main people leading the charge have all been charged with harassment themselves or horrible ties to criminal organizations. I won't go into specifics because YouTube doesn't want that, but look up every one of the Me Too movement leaders, from Secret Service investigations to criminal court cases themselves, and not just by women, but men too have all come forward against them. Now, if you don't know me, I'm a third-year law school student and a licensed journalist who has been published on CNN and actually have been invited to be on CNN upon occasion. I have refused to go on to CNN because I did not think it was proper for the topics that they wanted me to go to CNN and talk about. Mainly about being black. Specifically about being black. Now, I might say stuff, but I do not want to have my name tied to some sort of victimhood about being black, right? You all got me? I have victimhood all by myself that's real, right? And I don't need to imagine something, because all of my answers, when I thought about the questions that they wanted to ask me, all of my answers would have been, well, black people just don't need to go there. Well, black people just don't need to hang out there. Well, black people just don't need to show up to that. Well, black people just don't need to seek to be involved in that. Which would have completely derailed their entire news segment. So I didn't go. Now, and at the top of this cluster sits Bill Cosby. While we might feel sorry for his wife, that doesn't mean he did anything criminal. You have to keep coming back to, they're trying to say what he did with the women was criminal, right? In fact, in light of some recent events on YouTube, we need to be open to the possibility that Bill Cosby and his wife Camille Cosby had an understanding. I mean, they had to. This went on for 30, 40 years? He had girlfriends. Cosby paid for some of these women to live in mansion-like apartments. You can't hide that, Bill, from your wife. Can I get an amen? How many of you women would see $5,000 to the Regal Estate Apartments and be all like, "Oh, this doesn't mean anything at all." I can I get a show of hands of how many of you women would be right? So now they probably have had an understanding from the very beginning. But as much as we might feel sorry for Camille Cosby, that doesn't mean Bill Cosby did anything remotely criminal. Several of these women actually lied on the stand. The appeals court justices said nothing about this, namely the accuser. She lied several times in both cases. She said she did not know her fellow work associate that she was roommates with. I mean, the case should have been closed after that lie. She then lied about what happened, said it happened 1 year, then said it happened a year later. Then the fact that the judge and the district attorney hated the former district attorney personally, and this entire thing might just be some twisted revenge against him, the former district attorney, rears its ugly head. Now why, do you ask? If you don't know, the judge had an affair with the former district attorney's colleague, who is now a justice herself in the same county. Meanwhile, his own wife, the judge's wife, is protesting this case on the courthouse steps. Can I get a what? Can I get a what is going on? How did this case go anywhere? Even the media had to ask him why he wasn't stepping down from the case with his wife out on the steps of the courthouse protesting the case. And he said, he had the audacity to say, "Oh, she's her own woman. I don't see why I should step down because she's made up her own mind to do whatever she believes in. I encourage her to be a woman, and I'm all behind women." Your Honor, that's not what why haven't you stepped down it means. Okay, that doesn't answer the question of why you haven't stepped down. You can believe in women all you want to, but the corruption is running deep. You are an unethical personality, at the very least. Now, the cherry on top is the district attorney being overheard in the courthouse hallway saying the N-word about a black jury member, and then doubling down on the N-word, talking about this case and Dr. Bill Cosby. What happened is the FBI needs to step forward and announce the investigation of the judge and the district attorney for corruption. Oh, and if you fine folks didn't know, the FBI has investigated and indicted and sent to prison several judges, district attorney, and jury members, and I even believe mayors in that very county. That county is not such a good county, huh? More than just women are riding on Cosby staying in jail. But the bright light is shining through because the next step is the U.S. Supreme Court. Now, folks, isn't it curious that they just tried to get Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh removed from the court again, with the same exact accusations they made against Bill Cosby and Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. And it failed miserably because the one witness came forward and said she was threatened bodily by all of the witnesses who accuse her, shall I say, to get her to lie, straight up lie, told her to straight up lie about what happened. But the friends of the Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh again said there was no party. No one spiked the punch bowl. None of what they're talking about happened ever. They had parties. They were college parties. People stood around and talked. You know how they, and then probably jumped in the pool because, you know, that's what white people do. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. I like the white comedian who had a bunch of black friends. He went to the pool. Went to the pool party full of black people, and he came in his in his beach clothes, his pool clothes, and he looked around, and everybody was in Gucci, and they got their polo shirts on, and they got their Izod Lacoste sweaters on, at a pool party, quote unquote pool party, and they're sipping on whatever Courvoisier or whatever, what have you. You know how you do. And he said he got up on the diving board, and he was bouncing to the music, and the people were cheering him on, dancing, go white boy, get busy, go white boy, get busy, right, and then he jumped up, did a somersault, and he said time slowed, because the entire crowd started turning into the Flash, Barry Gordy's The Flash. What is his name? I'm Barry Allen, something like that. Turned into Barry Allen and turned into the Flash and went no, and he said cannonball, and that was the last time he was invited to a black party. So that's the type of party. The opposite was the type of party that the Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh went to. He went to one where they stood around sipping and jumping in the pool, right? Sipping drinks and talking and jumping in the pool. No dancing at all, right? Isn't it curious they tried to get Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh removed? The FBI report finally came out and showed that entire episode was a lie. That under investigation, the testimony came out that she wasn't sure of the place, wasn't sure of the time, and her friend came out and said, no, sweetheart, you don't know. What is his first name? Bruce Kavanaugh? You don't know Bruce Kavanaugh because I hung out with you 100% of the time during college, and you two never met. You two never went to a party together at the same time. It never happened, right? That's what the FBI report says. Go read it yourself. Now, is it a coincidence that the appeals for Bill Cosby is about to go to the Supreme Court of the United States, and they tried to remove Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh? They're saying in the CIA, there's a saying in the CIA, there is no such thing as coincidence. So, let me ask you, do you believe it's a coincidence? Is it coming through how big this potentially is that Cosby stay in jail? How big? How they would try and remove a Supreme Court justice? How big do you think this is? Because they're about to go to the Supreme Court. Because they think that the appeals court is about to do what they think that the appeals court is about to do. And come back and say, no, this isn't, everything was perfect. Perfect. Pennsylvania, Montgomery County. And then they're going to go to the Supreme Court. Now, they could have come back and give some sort of lukewarm dismissal and maybe retrial with a brand new judge, because there is a lot going on. Now, the appeals actually listed 11 different things about the judge running the trial itself that went against the law, went against the Constitution, went against civil rights, it was just a kangaroo court, right? You understand? So it might be that they might come back with some lukewarm, retry the case with a different, but then you still have the spoiled apple of the witness actually lying on the stand. So, you would, if it went to another judge, another trial judge, that trial judge would have to have the cojones, pardon my Spanglish, to say, hey, district attorney, you let a witness get on the stand and lie on the stand. Not only is she going to jail, but you are going to jail too. And you're going to be disbarred because that's a big, big, big no-no. Now, folks, do you understand how big this is? Do you understand the potential damaging effects that that he went? First of all, it's completely damaging that a man was tried and convicted with zero evidence, and when the facts come out that the testimony was actually a lie, as verified not only by 2 separate witnesses, but by 3 or 4, including the former district attorney and the former police. And they keep trying to say, well, Cosby confessed to it. No, he did not confess to it. That is fake news. And I will do a video on that specifically. The woman that he was referring to in that particular case is on record as saying that they are still very good friends and that nothing ever happened. You can't accuse somebody of something and say that they're confessing to something when nothing ever happened. You all are gonna raise my blood pressure up in here. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Make sure you like the video. That simply means that you're interacting with the video. It doesn't mean that you like me, you like the Bill Cosby, you like anything. Simply try and support the channel by clicking on the like button. Yeah, all it does is make a check mark to a computer somewhere in California somewhere. Leave a comment. That's another check mark. Share the video. That's another check mark. Add the video to your favorite list. That's another check mark. All of that can support the actual channel. Now, a lot of you all have said that you love to favorite these types of videos. Go ahead and favorite them, like, and comment, and subscribe, because 90% of you all are not my subscribers at all. And that's a shame, because I have some bad news for you. I'm going to do that video when I can. Please donate also to paypal.me/Shakaama. It's a one-time thing, or you can make it recurring. I want to give a shout out to Hans Hin. Thank you very much for doing a recurring donation every month. I appreciate you, sir. You're fantastic. Thank you all for watching. Goodbye.